When it comes to the misadventures of Jesse Pinkman, we just can't get enough. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 El Camino moments. For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most memorable, tense, thought-provoking, and moving scenes from the 2019 Netflix original El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Folks, a spoiler alert is in order.
Only you can decide what's best for you, Jesse. Not him, not me.
Number 10. Jesse's speech at the vacuum.
Uber products are right over there on the wall behind you.
Jesse Pinkman has made a lifetime of mistakes, but for all his goofiness and bad decisions over the years, his law-breaking experience has also taught him a thing or two. He knows how the criminal mind works. And so when Ed Galbraith makes a suspicious call to 911 to get Jesse out of his shop, Jesse seems poised to one-up the disappearer. Pinkman proceeds to outline all the ways in which the call sounded suspect, delivering what initially feels like a checkmate-type argument in criminal logic.
When your cops get here and they bust me, first question they're gonna ask is, what am I doing here trying to hand over a hefty bag full of cash to a dude who runs a vacuum cleaner store?
It plays like a much-needed win for Pinkman. That is, until the squad car rolls into frame.
Wow, you love that response time. Take your money.
It's a roller coaster of emotions for a desperate Pinkman, and we were right there with him. Number 9. Jesse negotiates with the fake cop. After tearing apart the home of his former captor, Jesse finally finds Todd's stash of cash. No sooner has he located it, however, than he gets interrupted by a pair of police officers, or so he thinks.
I'm no cop killer. You be cool, and I will be cool.
After a tense standoff, Jesse surrenders, only to discover that they're crooks like him. They just came armed with a disguise. The conniving pair seemingly have Jesse beat, but everyone's favorite beanie-wearing meth cook has one last card to play. He's got nothing to lose. And so he insists on taking a cut and walks away with not only his life, but a bag full of cash.
You pull that trigger, and you are gonna have to kill that loudmouth down the hall and every other witness in the place. And you will be as f***ed as I am. So, what's it gonna be?
Like we said, experience has clearly taught him a thing or two. Well played, Mr. Pinkman. Well played indeed. Number 8. A plan and a hat from Skinny Pete.
You drive like a blind guy with no legs.
Dude, you drive like my dead grandmoms.
That's disrespectful.
When we last saw Jesse Pinkman, he was speeding away from the scene of Walt's massacre of Jack's gang. As the credits began to roll, it was anyone's guess as to where he was headed. But if you happened to guess to meet up with Badger and Skinny Pete, well, you'd have won the bet.
Jesse? Who is it?
I gotta get that car off the street.
The pair of lovable dummies provide their usual comic relief, but Pete actually steps up when Jesse's plan goes sideways upon the discovery of LoJack.
What are you doing?
Fleeing, and I suggest you do the same. LoJack. The company just activated, just this minute. Talk about timing. Look, Johnny Law is on his way, as in here, as in now. So farewell, goodbye, regrets, etc., etc.
He gives Jesse money, orchestrates a car swap, and in one of the film's most touching moments, gives Jesse his hat. Not only is it nice to see Pete, the career screw-up, showcase his potential, but it also makes for an unexpectedly sentimental farewell.
Hold up. This might keep you from getting spotted. Can't hurt, right? You're skinny. Why are you doing all this? Dude, you're my hero and shit.
Number 7. The Walter White flashback. When Breaking Bad ended, many fans were in disbelief that Walter White was actually dead. The man had beat the odds so many times, it seemed inevitable that he somehow cheat death as well. Though his status is now officially deceased, Heisenberg nonetheless managed to rise from the dead for this film in the form of a flashback.
Well, that was good for you. It's got bromine.
Bromelain. But close. Actually, it's not close at all.
The scene takes place early in his and Jesse's unlikely partnership, and in it, Walter encourages Jesse to consider continuing his education.
Say you went to college.
Uh-huh.
What would you study, you think?
What interests you?
Sports medicine?
Sports medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's an interesting moment, one that conveys Walter's hopes for Jesse's future and the potential he sees in him, while also reminding viewers of how little he thought of Jesse's life up to this point. Crime brought them together, but they also developed a genuine father-son type bond.
You're really lucky, you know that? You didn't have to wait your whole life to do something special.
Number 6, the shootout. This thrilling moment feels as if it was ripped straight from an old western. As it turns out, Jesse's previously met the fake cop he encounters at Todd's apartment. He's a welder who did work for the white supremacists. Despite the man's role in Jesse's torment, Jesse doesn't hold a grudge. He asks for only as much money as he needs, $1,800, and then promises he'll be on his way.
I'm not here to rob you.
Or you're not. Then how's this work?
All I need is $1,800. I'm asking as a favor.
Unfortunately, Neil the welder is high on coke, headstrong and ready for action, and so he instead suggests they shoot for it.
Jesus, Neil. Come on, man. I didn't mean this.
Casey, shut the up.
We'll never know who was actually faster on the draw because Jesse, having learned to leave nothing to chance, instead shoots a second concealed gun that he has in his pocket. Number 5, Jesse's PTSD reveals itself. Throughout the film, various things cause Jesse to have brief but disorienting flashbacks to his time in captivity and the torture he suffered at the hands of the white supremacists. Aaron Paul does a great job of conveying his character's struggle with what is clearly post-traumatic stress disorder, even if it's never identified as such in the film. At no point throughout the film, however, is it more effective than when he first wakes up after going to Skinny Pete and Badger. Confused by his surroundings, he jumps up like a feral animal, tearing at the blinds and pulling a gun on Badger and Pete when they come to investigate.
Whoa, Jesse! Who's there? It's cool, man, it's us!
It's us, Jesse, you're safe. It's us.
He's so deeply traumatized, he doesn't even recognize his best friends. Number 4, giving Ed the letter. After his time in captivity, Jesse is only interested in one thing, getting a fresh start. Unfortunately, that's easier said than done. Almost everything he does in the film is in the name of locating and paying the disappearer, Ed Galbraith. Now, Galbraith isn't sentimental or one for emotional appeals, but he is a man of his word. In his own quiet way, he shows Jesse support and, more importantly, he promises to deliver a letter for Jesse, one addressed to Brock, the boy who was orphaned as a result of Jesse's criminal ties. The exact contents of the letter remain a mystery, but the mere fact that Jesse could overcome his shame and guilt to reach out to Brock says enough.
I'm going to Mexico City in about a month. I'll nail it from there. Anyone else you want to say goodbye to? Not many of us get a chance to start fresh.
Number 3, the Jane flashback. As much as the death of Brock's mother broke Jesse, his first great loss, and arguably his greatest love, was Jane Margolis. His neighbor, landlord, and eventual girlfriend, Jane similarly struggled with addiction, but is in recovery when they meet. Sadly, that doesn't last, and her relapse ends fatally. While this film is all about Jesse moving forward, he's defined by his past, and as he finally drives towards his new life in Alaska, he can't help but think back to some important words that Jane once shared with him.
I was thinking about that thing you said about the universe. Going where the universe takes you. Right on.
Jesse has seemingly and finally taken Jane's advice to heart. From this point onwards, he appears committed to living his life deliberately and with purpose.
I've gone where the universe takes me my whole life. It's better to make those decisions for yourself.
Number 2, flashback to the welder. When Jesse shows up to Candy Welding late at night, we're treated to his traumatic memory of how he previously knew Neil. The welder was hired by the white supremacists to work on Jesse's lab, setting up a track system so that Jesse could move around while restrained without any chance of escape. The fact that this man was willing to turn a blind eye to human slavery is disgusting enough, but it gets worse when Neil and Kenny proceed to bet on whether Jesse can break free.
$50 says he breaks this thing right here, right now. 50 plus. Then you gotta put up more of those, what'd you call them, gussets?
Jesse's ordered to hurl himself in each direction, clearly causing himself great pain. It's a difficult scene to watch, but it's certainly an effective reminder of just what sort of hell Jesse has survived.
Now, I believe in you. You're gonna John Henry this bitch, yeah? Now go. Go, 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 go! Let's go! Yeah!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
It's a bad carpenter that blames his hammer, yo.
Whatever.
You're apexing too early. You're apexing too early.
I'm apexing at the apex, bitch. Don't be telling me how to drive and shit.
I'm feeling kinda lonely too, if you don't mind. Can I sit down here beside you?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Todd, Jessie, and the gun. Getting a deeper look into the relationship between Jessie and Todd was one of the unexpected pleasures of El Camino.
Everything good?
Yeah. Good.
Great. You want a cigarette?
What begins as a day helping Todd run errands turns sinister when Jessie's made an accomplice in disposing of the body of Todd's cleaning lady. Jessie eventually finds a gun, however, and the exchange that follows is riveting. Jessie is a broken, desperate man, but he realizes, just as Todd already knows, that escape isn't an option.
Jesse, what kind of pizza? Pepperoni. Pepperoni. Sure. Classic. I like that too.
And so, as bloodshed is avoided and promises of beer and pizza made, the scene ends in an unlikely embrace.
Come on. Look at that view. Should be a heck of a sunset.
It takes truly phenomenal writing to make a flashback feel this tense, especially when viewers already know the fate of the characters involved, but Gilligan pulls it off magnificently. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.